Don't you want to get better?
I feel fine.
The person you were conversing with, she wasn't there.
How am I to know that you're here?
I'm telling you I'm here.
It's what Lydia tells me.
Why are you here, Adam?
Because the police are muppets. That's why. Dragging me out to William Morris like I'm a psycho. A fucking Weatherspoons. Have you ever been in a Weatherspoons in the morning? Oh, you'll find Captain Club Milk at the corner table, radio in headquarters with his chocolate biscuit bar and matchstick aerial. And the Duke, over here by the poker machine, barefoot in a three-piece suit so old it's almost back in fashion. You know what he does all day? He buffs his bare feet with a polished brush. Toothless Abby, by the jukebox, eating yogurt with a plastic fork. A plastic fork? Sir Anthony, sipping his port wine at the bar, telling all who pass how he was buggered by a fox one night down by the river, all before he puts his top hat on, departs out the door for afternoon tea at Savoy, 12:30 every day, because, yeah, well, I don't like to be toddy, you know. And I'm the one you diagnose as delusional.
I haven't diagnosed anything as of yet. Can we talk through what happened with the police?
2 officers come in and approached my table. They asked me to accompany them outside, and I declined politely. I was halfway through with my lamb dinner. They became aggravated and they shouted at me to put down the knife.
They say you brandished a knife.
I was holding a knife. It's hard to eat lamb without one.
The bar manager called the police because you were aggressive.
I'll admit, I tore into my lamb with vigour. I was very hungry.
And you were shouting at no one in particular.
I was engaged in a robust conversation now.
With Lydia?
Yes.
If I were to view the CCTV footage of the incident, would I see Lydia?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. You'd most definitely see at least 4 other individuals in my area of the bar, talking loudly to nobody in particular, but they're excused, see, because they've got a little phone to their ear. Who's to say there was anybody at the other end of the phone?
I think it's safe to assume that there was.
Nope, it's not safe to assume anything.
This robust conversation you were having with Lydia, what were you talking about?
Poetry.
You're a poet.
Yes, Lydia is my harshest and most truthful critic.
I used to write poetry. I didn't appreciate my harshest and most honest critics. I was overly sensitive.
And what was the first poem that moved you?
Wild Geese.
Tell me of despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Tell me your despair.
I'd like to hear one of your poems.
And then you'll tell me your despair.
That depends on how good the poem is.
All right? Good one. I'd like to think they're all good. This is an early one. Corn-haired Breton with Atlantic eyes breezes waif-like through city streets to haunt careless cravings of the beguiled. Wearing her beauty like a lace glove, she weaves a labyrinth with spools of river thread which stream through summer evenings to quench parched pavements and refresh the withered wings of worn lovers. Fiery tongues lick candy floss from turquoise sky as dusk, shadow-sandaled feet that stalk dreams through royal alleyways and vagrant avenues to dance cheek to cheek with forgotten futures. Her fragrant laughter, luminescent through the murky undertow, she dispels the mist with a shrug and the night sinks slowly and soft into her spell.
Lydia was Breton.
Lydia is Britain. From Cruson. We both grew up by the wild Atlantic, me and her.
What did she think of the poem?
What do you think of the poem?
I like it. I like it a lot. It owes a lot to Eliot. Perhaps overwritten at times. Lots of adjectives towards the end. How did Lydia respond?
Oh, you read Proofrock. I think you need less words and more emotion. I do not wish to compete with a poem.
Did you ever write her another poem?
No. No, that put the kibosh on that avenue of seduction. I scribbled a few words down yesterday, but nothing worth talking about.
How did you two meet?
We didn't meet. We found one another. You ever looked into somebody's eyes and realised the moment you did that you were supposed to be together? Every choice that you ever made, every road that you ever took, it led you to your reunion.
You knew Lydia from before.
Oh, from before the world was made, to borrow from Yeats.
Where did this reunion take place?
Beach in Thailand. Hatreen. Full moon party, October 96. It was a gigantic orange moon the particular night in question. It was magical. It was like the sun rising there in the west. We recognised one another immediately. She'd come out of the water and thrown her arms around me. I asked her where she'd been. She said she'd been in the ocean, listening to the whales sing ancient harmonies about the mournful joy of being.
That's quite the opening line.
Have you ever heard a humpback sing?
I haven't had the privilege.
Oh.
Where's Lydia now?
No. No, you tell me about your despair.
That wouldn't be appropriate.
Appropriate? Such an ambiguous concept.
Seems straightforward to me.
Relies on context, interpretation, and all the vagaries of societal customs.
Can we return to the William Morris?
Your father left.
My father is not your concern.
You asked me about my pain.
I'm working in a professional capacity.
As am I. Pain finds expression through poetry.
I'm not in pain, Adam.
We're all in pain, Brianna. We are. We'd both be out of work if it weren't the case. And just to speed things up, I'm an Irish cliché. I've a drunken, abusive father, angelic mother, yet to write the obligatory memoir.
The William Morris?
Your mother was troubled.
Tell me more about Lydia, and I will tell you about my mother.
Lydia's gifted.
Gifted?
Yeah.
How?
Lydia has the gift of empathy, genuine empathy. The pain of the world flows through her.
How does that feel?
Exquisite? Exquisite, to use her words.
That's an interesting choice of words.
I've been attempting to express her version of exquisite through verse.
She's not impressed by your attempts?
She maintains it's inexpressible. It's like trying to put words to whale song. I'm inclined to agree.
So why bother?
We're attempting to express the inexpressible. It's an accurate version of definition of poetry as any. Yeah. How does your mother express herself?
Badly. She was difficult.
I take it she had mental health issues.
Manifested through addiction and abusive behavior.
And that's why your father left.
Yes. At least partly so.
Your mother blamed you.
I was the only one there. She wasn't going to blame herself. Who did your mother blame?
My father died, aged 35. It was like he never existed. A violent bluster we endured which burnt itself out and was no more. My mother was never one for laying blame. Now, how about your mother?
A constant assault of barely discernible nags and digs and stabs.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Only she bled out before I did, just about.
You know what it is that all psychiatrists and poets have in common?
A dysfunctional family?
A fucked up family. And to use a more Irish expression, most embarrassing moment.
How do you mean?
The moment that your mother caused you your greatest embarrassment.
I'm not going to tell you that, Adam. We should get back to our session.
I wasn't aware that we'd left our session.
We have digressed.
You made a promise.
Do you really think your poem was that good?
I don't think it was that bad.
I was 10. My mother was to collect me from school. I went outside and I found her passed out in a pool of her own urine in front of the school gates. Half a bottle of gin in her hand. I couldn't wake her. So the headmaster called an ambulance. All the teachers and students watched as they loaded her onto a stretcher and put her in the back. They put me in with her and away we went, lights flashing and sirens wailing.
Damn. That's good. I don't know if I can beat that.
It's not a competition.
On the plus side, though, you got to ride in the back of an ambulance there with the flashing blue lights and the screaming sirens and all. Now, how many 10-year-olds could say that?
Shut up. It was an ambulance, not an ice cream truck.
Is it appropriate for a psychiatrist to tell her client to shut up?
Appropriate is an ambiguous concept.
What is your relationship now like with your mother?
She's dead, Adam. There is no relationship.
Mm.
Do you talk to your father?
I don't talk to people who aren't there, Brianna.
How did it feel to lose Lydia?
I didn't lose Lydia! I spoke with her yesterday!
According to the police report, Lydia was last seen 2 weeks ago entering the Thames River. Adam, I know there's been no body discovered, but outside of a miracle?
That night on Hatterene, we danced, crossed sands that shifted like soft corpses beneath our feet, and we touched one another softly, ever so softly, each afraid that the other might vanish as we sank into the phosphorescent sea where galaxies swirled and died. At one stage, Lydia broke our embrace, reached up, pulled the sky back to reveal the hideous beauty of the heavens. Listen, she cried, listen to the whales sing. And I heard the whales sing. I heard the universe. I felt it pulsating, this living, breathing entity that connects us all. And I felt this intense love for this remarkable person with whom I had just travelled through time. Even though time no longer existed, it dissolved into the water swirling around us like galaxies. I should probably mention that we were tripping on mushrooms. In 27 years, I have never once looked at Lydia and not experienced that same intensity of feeling. Every time she walked into the room, every time I woke to find her beside me in the bed, even when we fought and she'd stood out the room with her wee chin up in the air, always in the wrong, by the way, I'd feel it pulsing through me. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever experienced the same intensity of emotion?
Never. Not even close.
It's miraculous that we found one another on that crowded beach, underneath that orange moon. Maybe it made me believe in miracles.
I'm really sorry, Adam.
The pain of the world flowed through me. It flowed through me. Exquisite. Then it was gone. She gave up on humanity. The gift of empathy became too great a burden.
You have to let her go, Adam. If you don't, the grief will consume you from the inside. You'll end up institutionalized, maybe in jail, or dead.
How's about I tell you I've let her go and you just send me on my way?
This isn't about you being sectioned. I'm not going to recommend that.
I don't want for them to recover her body. I like to think that she's reached the ocean by now.
You said that you scribbled a few lines yesterday?
In the William Morris. There's nothing first draft shite bollocks. More like lyrics.
Well, read it to me.
What is it to cry across an ocean? What is it to sing across a sea? What is it to wish upon a lullaby? What is it to finally break free? I'm yet to decide on a title.
I take it this was the subject of your conversation with Lydia. And what did she suggest?
Whale song. Whale song.